Fast fashion is the inexpensive clothing that is produced quickly in order to keep up with current fashion trends. These items are typically worn up to 5 times and kept on average 35 days. Now, I know that we all have different ideas and different styles when it comes to fashion, and these affect where we buy, how we buy, and how often we do. I can almost guarantee, however, that most of our first options would not be a thrift store or a secondhand store, but someplace like Forever 21 that keeps up with the current fashion trends. This, however, is leading to the current problem. Researching the topic of fast fashion has led me to the conclusion that it has a much bigger impact on our environment than any of us realized, but there are simple steps we can take to lessen these effects. Today, I will argue that fast fashion has a profound impact on the environment and explain a few methods we can take to lessen these effects. In recent years, fast fashion has become a real issue. Therefore, I will give you methods that easily keep us from getting sucked into the world of fast fashion. Firstly, I will give you a brief understanding of the impact of fast fashion and the impact it has on the workers and the environment. Secondly, I will inform you how you can adopt new methods of shopping to lessen the waste created by fast fashion. So, how big of an impact does it really have? Well, first, I'm going to start you off with a brief understanding of the issues surrounding fast fashion and how it affects us. Everything about the production, distribution, and discarding of fast fashion items has an effect on the environment and each individual. The workers involved in the making of fast fashion pieces are often in developing countries and are not given good working conditions. According to a video made by Teen Vogue in 2018, these exploitations often include things such as child labor, forcing employees to handle dangerous materials, and gross underpayment for long hours. Brands use cheap laborers like this to keep their costs low, but are not always as worried about the workers' well-being. The second highest polluter of clean water is the clothing industry. According to HuffPost, an online news site, the cotton industry uses more pesticides than any other industry in the world, which can poison the farmers and pollute the water. Runoff from the factories can pollute rivers, which makes them dangerous for human use. Polyester, now the most commonly used fiber in our clothing, can take hundreds of years to break down in our waste landfills. According to HuffPost, over 70 million trees are logged every year and are turned into fabrics like rayon. Some factories use fossil fuels to make their clothing, and others use coal to make fabrics like rayon, which can pollute the air. According to the video made by Teen Vogue, in addition to that, there has been a 60% increase in the amount of clothing we own between 2000 and 2014. Pieces are kept only half as long as we used to keep them 15 years ago, which has led to 150 billion garments being produced each year and 2.5 billion pounds of waste being removed from the waste stream each year, according to the Council of Textile Recycling. The fashion industry is responsible for 10% of the global carbon footprint, which is undoubtedly contributing to the effects of global climate change. When you understand these effects on the planet, it may push you to change your buying habits when it comes to fashion pieces. Secondly, I'm going to ask you to take an honest look at your wardrobe and decide which pieces are the pieces you constantly wear and you would never get rid of. Anything else in there is the problem. If you're going on a shopping trip once a month and come back with a bag or more of new things, then you're contributing to the problem. Sales, email coupons, and mindlessly browsing shopping sites can affect your shopping habits, which is not a good thing. According to an article from BBC News, Kelly Lee Cooper interviewed Ursula from the fashion revolution, and she recommends people return to engaging emotionally with their clothing, learning to love the things they own, and taking longer to consider future purchases. When you do buy things, make sure they are things that will last and things that are your own style in order to avoid having to throw them out as often. In North America, people are wearing their newest item of clothing only 7 times in comparison to European countries that wear an item up to 40 times. Our consumption level has risen so high that we don't even have time to wear half of the things we are bringing in. Popular figures and social media influencers can persuade you to buy things you don't necessarily need more often as well. So take a step back and ask yourself over the course of a few days if you really need this item. Shopping in thrift stores or online shops like eBay can also help. Donating your clothes also goes hand in hand with buying your items from secondhand shops. As long as they're clean, anything you want to get rid of should be taken to various donation centers so that they can decide where it's going to go and how it's going to be reused. Therefore, we have many ways we can change our buying habits that will affect our environment in a positive way. Overall, there are 2 important things to know about fast fashion. Firstly, the significant negative impact it has on the world's environment, and secondly, how easy it actually is to change our buying habits to lessen these negative effects on our whole world's environment. There are many other ways we can positively change our buying habits and help the environment as well. However, the suggestions I've listed are the easiest starting points for somebody who hasn't already begun doing this. Nevertheless, even if half the consumers in North America were to adopt these buying habits, we would be able to cut down on a large percentage of clothing pollution. The goal we should strive for, however, is that of a sustainable fashion industry that values the health of the planet over fashion trends. While there are many contributors to climate change and waste, the fashion industry plays a very large role. If we want to save our planet, we need to start taking better care of it. Instead of putting our material needs and current need for consumerism first, we need to put the health of our planet first if we hope to slow the effect of climate change.